probably look a little haggard. I was up kind of late last night. Probably a bunch of you were too. I know a bunch of my friends on the East Coast were up pretty late. Oh, man. I'm happy. I'm tired. I'm just getting used to the idea of this. This is good. There were so many of us. I think a lot of us had PTSD, really, after that last election, right? Because there was definitely some shenanigans that went on. I mean, you could do the math on this one. Something like 20 million votes disappeared somehow. But it's not over yet. I mean, it's over. We know Trump won, and that's awesome. But there's still a few states still aren't in yet. So his electoral, those numbers are going to go up. I'm happy about that. We'll see how it goes. I mean, now the work starts, right? Now the work starts. So, but I just wanted to chime in on it. Yesterday I decided to stay home. I farted around. I had to do some stuff. I moved some stuff around where I have my little leather working station. I broke a cabinet trying to make something. I'm working on this. Finally getting back to some leather stuff, and I figured out how to do a belt thing and everything else. So that's cool. But I had the TV on, with the election stuff. But I couldn't just watch that. I can't sit there and just watch that. I did other things. Matter of fact, late last night, as I was watching and the numbers are coming in, I couldn't sit there with the anxiety because, again, of what happened last time. Fully expected that to happen again. And so instead, I watched a couple movies. One of them was this one. Highly recommend this. If you guys haven't seen this is a great movie. And if you're a rockabilly guy like I am, it's just phenomenal. But I laughed my ass off doing that. And when that was over, put the TV back on and it was like, oh, okay. And then I watched it happen. I caught it just in time, And then I stayed there and I got on the computer a little bit as it was in the background with the sound off. Every once in a while it looked like something interesting was happening. I put the sound back on. But I stayed up late enough to listen to the Trump speech, which was pretty good. And after that, I decided, let me look at the other channels, and none of them had called the election. I suspect because they were waiting for the same shenanigans again themselves. But then this morning I got up and I looked around, it's the same old thing. Matter of fact, I have to say this too. Yesterday when I was looking at the election thing, I was looking at some other channels as well. And it was amazing, like just the doom and gloom as they were starting to perceive the reality of the situation, but they didn't want to admit it. But they started giving all sorts of reasons, election issues, all kinds of things as an excuse to why Trump was going to win. But they're not talking about you and me because this was an election. Not so much Democrats versus Republicans. It was dumb versus smart. That's what it really boiled down to. And it's not that all the people that are, would prefer, they think that they would prefer Harris, are dumb necessarily. In a way they are. They're because they keep believing nonsense, right? They keep watching these channels that program their minds with bullshit. Case in point, this morning I got up and I put on PBS, which I haven't done in a long, long time. Democracy Now, this show with this woman who just looks bitter and angry. Just look at her face, man. She's not, not a happy human being. I guess when you are engaged in propaganda all the time, that has to work on your psyche, and what goes on in your brain is reflected through how you look. That's just a fact. I mean, you can see it in people. And it's just nonsense. It's just, they have to say, anybody that's leans more to the right, there's going to be something negative said about them. Anybody who leans blue there's something positive going to be said about them. And they said, we're going to take a break and we're going to get back. At their break, there's no commercials. They played Bob Marley's Get Up, Stand Up for Your Rights. Yeah, man. I love that tune. Bob Marley was awesome. As they're doing that, they are just showing you snapshots, and I don't think they were from this election, because a lot of it was pictures of things that the propaganda they used against Trump in the last two elections, and because of a lot of that looked dated to me. But that is, imagine, get up, stand up for your rights, and then the imagery that they're showing you is people, crowds of people holding up hate signs against Trump. That's Pavlovian. This is how it works. This is how this stuff gets into the minds of your friends and family that you're having these issues with, because they're supporting that side, but they're supporting it based on programming. They're literally being programmed with nonsense. And we have the First Amendment. That's what the press hides behind in many cases. And of course we have the Second Amendment, which is there to defend the First Amendment. And defend you against tyrannical government, as well as your own personal safety. But I kind of wish there was a way to deal, like, we should have freedom of speech as individual citizens. This is just my opinion, by the way. As individual citizens. Which means hate speech too, all speech. There's this great meme, I posted it the other day. It was, I believe in, these two guys talking. There's just two pictures, little bubble above the guy's head. You get to read it. First one is the guy says, I believe in free speech, just not hate speech. Then the other one, the guy's saying, oh yeah, I believe in physics, just not gravity. Because that's what you're saying when you say those things. I mean, if you're going to get out there and say hateful things, that can correct itself, because people around you can dismiss it, you know. But if it's backed up by hateful messages coming from our media, then the person saying the hateful things thinks that they're correct in a weird way. And that's where the problem lies. So I kind of feel like I wish that the press across the board was held to a higher standard. I wish that there was a way to say there should be an auditing of all media. Not to shut them up. Not to shut them up. You want to keep lying, lying to the American people, fine. But there should be a way to, like a watch over thing, and it should be like a quarterly thing and it should be released. Maybe there should be a channel dedicated to this, but where they take all the lies that are spun, misinformation, mistruths, propaganda, and quarterly it's like, okay, here it is. So, CBS, NBC, whatever it is, here's what they said this monthly. Here's what they said. This is what's not correct. And then that has to get out there to people. Maybe by law, they have to correct themselves. Imagine if there was a law that said, okay, you say whatever you want, freedom of speech. However, the amount of time that you dedicated to something that was a lie, that turned out to be totally false, that gets tallied up. All this can be done with computers. Okay, now you have to devote the same exact amount of time to the correction. Think about that. What would that mean? Because if you devoted 20 hours in a month of time to a particular message that turns out to be false, now you got to devote 20 hours to the correction. Well, there'd be a lot less lying going on. You hear what I'm saying? Because my point is that we need freedom of the press, but the propaganda has to stop, because that's what's dividing us, and it's hurting us, and it's keeping us from collectively coming together as all good humans and understanding what the reality of the situation is around us. So that's a thing. Now, there's just so much crap that's been going on for years. I just looked over. I still get this bill from the IRS every year for $146 for Obamacare. I'm not paying it. I didn't pay it then. I didn't vote for that. None of us voted for that. That was a mandate that came down that was bullshit. All right. There's still that kind of crap going on. The whole thing is insane to me, the amount of nonsense that... Anyhow, look, let's look to the future. All right? Let's all be happy that we have been unburdened by what has been. over the last 3.5, almost 4 years. Oh my God! And now, what we're going to need to do is combat the lies continually. So as things improve, as little things happen like they did last time, we should talk about it. And you don't have to be up on a soapbox about it or anything, but just talk about it. I've always made predictions. I don't know that I've ever done a YouTube video making predictions, but I've made it around friends and talked to people. I said, this is what happened. Now this person's in, here's what you can expect. So I'm going to do that right now a little bit, just off the top of my head, like everything else I do. The cost of things will come down. And the reason that they will come down is because of energy. Everything depends on energy, the cost of energy. It's not just the gasoline you're putting in your cars either. You understand? So once we can get our own energy independence back, maybe get Anwar going, everything else, stop purchasing oil and things like that from other countries, because we don't really need to. And all the other things we can do with this, dropping the cost of energy will reduce the cost of products. Because the thing that people don't seem to understand, everything, all the products that we buy require a tremendous amount of energy to both produce or import and ship around and everything else. That's why the costs have gone so high. So once we get fuel costs and all the other energy costs down, we should see a lowering of product costs. We'll get some more manufacturing come back to the country too. Wars will stop. I mean, we're not going to get into World War III now. At least I don't think so. Not unless there could be some weird thing that happens, some weird false flag thing that it wouldn't be coming from the White House. It would be coming from somebody in the military-industrial complex or something, trying to set something off. But I think that even if somebody makes an attempt in that direction with some bizarre incident, I think that Trump has the chops to keep that from turning into a World War III thing. Because he doesn't want that. He doesn't want your children going to war. He got North Korea, Russia, Iran, all the bad actors during his first administration. He had all of them under control, corralled, all right, economically fenced in. He had Russia and Iran basically bankrupt. They weren't able to sell oil. He was telling China, if you buy oil from Iran, we're not doing business with you. Iran was bankrupt. As soon as the new administration came in, the Biden thing, they gave all that up. Iran and Putin made a bunch of money. Boom. Next thing you know, the world's on fire. That's how that happened. So that's going to stop. And we'll see the economy grow. People are funny about tax cuts. It's just for the rich. No. That works for everybody. It's not a trickle-down thing, morons. What it is when you lower corporate tax, that also is for small business. That helps a lot of small businesses. And as we know, small business, backbone of the friggin' country, the economy. When you put all these nonsensical we're gonna have less regulations. Trump got rid of like multiple regulations for any one regulation he may have created. You got to get these old regulations off the books that don't help anything and stifle the economy and stifle growth. So more of that's going to happen. That happened last time. A lot of you don't know about it. Anyhow, I'm weaving a little. We're going to see these things happen. And as we see them happen, we should talk about it and we should champion it. Because there's going to be, companies will be able to spend more money. So the way it works is when the corporate tax rate is lowered, right, the federal government takes in more revenue. This is the thing that these people don't understand. They just don't know economics, or they're part of this plan that where they want to just destroy the country for some reason. Anyhow, we had a course correction here. There's that guy, Kevin O'Leary, I think his name is. I was listening to him say something about this last night, and he was very well spoken, super smart as a whip, wears 2 watches at a time. Oh my God, it's so early, I didn't even put my watch on yet. Because he was real big on that. Like, it course corrected. He says that's the beauty of our system in America, is that it can get bad, it can get bad, it can get worse and get worse, but eventually it has to course correct because the people, Okay? You guys are responsible for this. So because it was enough of it's just enough already. Enough people just realize we can't have this anymore. So I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. I feel much better because since that last election, I've been demoralized. I wasn't watching any politics. I wasn't watching any of it. Couldn't do it anymore because I kind of felt I just threw my arms up in the air like so many people, and I was like, well, what difference does it make if they're gonna play these games to steal things? Just doesn't matter. I'm happy, but we'll see what happens. Now it's like I said. Now it's back to work. But leading up to this, I know I'm not the only one. I have friends of mine that think the way I do about a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not like everybody I'm friends with agrees with everything I think. I think that's kind of crazy. Apologize for background noise. Got a lot of wind this morning too. This mic should be fine. It just breaks my concentration. I don't even know what that is. I've never seen that machine before driving by on the street behind me. It is freaking massive. It's like a crane that they're towing down the street. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I need a studio. Speaking of, let me get off that for a minute. I did the interview with Sabo, and it's doing pretty well. I recommend you guys watch that. Sabo is the most censored artist in America, street artist, and it was good. I did direct him a little bit in that, and I interrupted him a little, but that's because we're friends. It's a bullshit session. It's not an interview. It's a bullshit session. A couple of guys just hanging out. And the reason I was stopping him along the way was just because I wanted to keep directing the conversation from, hey, here's where you came from to where this is where you're at now. And I think I did that pretty well with him. And we're pals, but we spoke last night, and he was like, dude, you got to get a better camera. You know, it makes you look older and everything else. I try to explain to him, I get it, man. I get it. But I don't care. This isn't about... I never cared what I look like. I mean, I like to have a certain about my kind of hobo chic style thing, but I don't care about this. It's what somebody's saying. It's who a person is on the inside, not so much the looks. The looks come into play when it comes to somebody you might want to have sex with. Absolutely. Like what you're attracted to that way? Absolutely, sure. I get that. But as far as a message, I suppose looks are a thing because maybe people want to stare at you longer because they find something appealing, so they will listen to you. So I can understand that plays into it a little bit, but it should always be about the message. It should always be about the character. And I know the hateful types will jump on that statement there with Trump. What about his character? Most of what you believe is a lie, man. It's a lie. So one of the great things that I think he did, Trump, was just, and that's why he won. It was 10 points up with young voters. That's, millennials and Gen Zs voted for Trump in droves. And that's because of podcasts. That's why. He went on long-form podcasts, talked for 2 hours, 3 hours about all kinds of things. He wasn't being political. It was just talking to people. He'd bring up his stuff because he had to, and he was asked a lot. So fine, but that's what you have to do. And if you watch those, I did this before. I said this to you guys before. If you watch the Letterman interviews with Trump in chronological order, from the first one to the last one, and you see how Letterman always tried to get his goat and goof on him every episode, and Trump would just listen to him, good sense of humor, laugh about it, but then he would answer it. And he'd explain to you why this happened, why that happened, or what he's doing next, and how he's going to make this better. And if he made a mistake, he admitted it. All those things. He's a humble guy, believe it or not. So when you see him talking to people he doesn't even know yet in some cases, the Theo Von interview was crazy. The Andrew Schultz interview, that was a good one. Rogan, of course, great one. And Harris wouldn't go on Rogan. For her to get on there, they wanted him to travel. It was going to be only an hour. There's going to be other people in the room. They were going to try to control that. Everything. That's And you know the funny thing is, if Rogan would have went along with that, people would have saw that and saw through it, and that would not have gained her anything. Because she's disingenuous. She's not a real person. She's a empty pantsuit is what she is. Nothing good would have happened if she would have won. It would have just been horrible for not just this country and our pocketbooks and our freedoms and our liberties, but the whole world. I mean, we were marching into World War III there. So thank God. I mean, I was praying, man. I was hopeful, but I was so anxiety ridden. I really think that part of the reason I didn't do any work for the last, 3 or 4 weeks was just this election thing coming up. Honestly, I think that was a factor in it. That was just bothering me mentally too much. Things were starting to dry up a little bit too because people don't have the money. Just things are just too expensive. I'm reminded by that with this IRS thing here during the Obama administration. I mean, I was hanging on by my fingernails, barely getting by during that time. And when Trump first came along in 2016, things, as soon as he announced that he was going to run that first time, everything changed within a week. Things were looking up and people were willing to start spending money again. And during that whole time, until the pandemic came along, which I don't care what you think about what I think. Because what I think is that was a planned thing. And it was mainly orchestrated by the people running the friggin' planet to take out Trump because of what he was doing to their bottom line. That's what I think. And they don't care about us. They understand this is going to get a little crazy, like deep, my own beliefs. Because I believe we never really die. I believe you're a pure light being. You're currently inhabiting this body. And when the body kick stops working, you're released. And you go to whatever that next thing is. And I think that the elites, the people running the planet, know that. And that's why they don't care about killing you. They don't care about killing your parents, your children, your grandparents, your friends, your neighbors, people in other countries. They don't care about killing anybody. Because they know there's no real death. I think that that's their thing. I think that they got this weird way of looking at things, and that's it. And their whole thing is about controlling us and ruling over this planet with bullshit. They get off on that, and Trump was a warrior against that, and so is common sense and intelligence, intellect. Your individual freedoms, liberties, the way that your mind works, your ability to problem solve, apply common sense, weigh things out. Do what's best for yourself, your neighbors, your friends, your family, all those things. They don't want you to do that. They want, and then the tools that they use to break that up is by creating all kinds of nonsensical ideas and putting them out there into the young minds. That's why the Department of Education's been so bad, right? I mean, the only thing the Department of Education has done is create this thing called administrators. It's created a huge bureaucracy that takes money out of your pocket via tax dollars to fund an organization, a bureaucracy, that then puts administrators in schools and classrooms that then promote bad ideas, horrible things that take away from the learning of your children, and they've literally been dumbing people down so that they will accept more dumb ideas because they're too dumb to see it. This is a creation. This is a thing that they've been doing. When Common Core Math came out, as soon as I thought it was a joke. But then again, I thought Clamato was a joke. When I saw the first commercial for Clamato, clam and tomato juice, like that was a real product, I thought that was a Saturday Night Live skit that somebody stole and put it on television. Like, who wants that shit? That's fucking disgusting. That's how I felt when I saw Common Core Math. And it hit me, and I said it. I said it then. I've repeated this many times since then. I'm going to say it right now. Common Core Math was about getting our children to accept absurdity so that as they age, they will continue to accept whatever else the government tells them or whatever else the media tells them. So these are tools. Right? I'm explaining it to you. I'm showing you how propaganda works. how programming works. Here's a song that you like. Here's imagery you don't like. Here's an image that you can't stand. We're going to show you this image. We're going to narrate over it with a bunch of bullshit that's not true to get you to hate somebody else. It's all about divide and conquer. Again, Cloward-Piven strategy, Saul Alinsky rules for radicals. You guys got to look this stuff up and understand what's going on, because just because Trump is going to be the next president and a lot of good things are going to happen, that machine that's trying to divide us, wants you to hate other people, wants everybody to be the same, equally miserable. It's crazy, man. That's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. But those people that think that way, when they do those things, we should talk about it. When you see it, you should point it out. You don't have to be mean-spirited about it either. You just say, I heard this today, and this is not crazy. And let me show it to you. Here's what this person said. We have to start, because one of the things we did here that helped us win this was ridicule, right? Mostly through YouTube and social media and independent, YouTubers having these platforms where they're showing you what crazy nonsense the left has been throwing out there all this time and making fun of it. That's our weapon. That's the weapon, is ridicule. And you can ridicule without being mean-spirited too. You know what I'm saying? But you have to continue to point out the nonsense, like the true nonsense of what's going on. We can't give up on this. It's still a fight. It's not over. But you should feel better. You should get a little happy right now, because you're going to have more money in your pocket. There's going to be more opportunities opening up. I know that more work's going to come my way, because I'm not a need guy so much. I'm a want guy when it comes to the furniture stuff and everything. So I just feel so much better. We'll see how it goes. Anyhow, it's pretty windy today. I probably should get to work, but I feel like I want to not. I feel like it should be a holiday. Yesterday and today. There should be Election day and the day after should be a 2-day holiday in the country. Because regardless how it goes, either you're upset, you're pissed off, and you're like just depressed after last night, and today you're not going to want to do anything and talk to your friend, and you're just going to watch it there going, why did this happen? Like, you got you guys, and then you got the rest of us going, woo, nice, okay, yeah, yes, okay, calm it down, okay, today I have to sit down and relax. I got to soak this in. Let's watch. Let's make sure it's real still. Can they still steal it? Was like, is this what's going to happen? Okay. Woo. It's too much excitement. Let's calm it down. Let's take it down. And then tomorrow, boom, march on with a positive outlook and a happy face and a, hey, how you doing, buddy? How's it going? How about that one? Nice to see you. How's it going? Nice. Hey, how's it? Let's all be kind. Let's all be good to one another. Let's help each other out. Hope you enjoyed this. For those of you that are unhappy, you'll get over it. But I hope that those of you who are unhappy are reflecting on this and what it truly means. Look at those numbers. Look at those counties that got won across the country. It's not half the country. It's always more than half the country. It's really just like 20 to 30% of the country that live in the metropolitan areas. Most of them also the college educated. They always say college educated like it's a positive thing. That's college indoctrinated. That's college infused, propagandized. So many of those people are just, converts through being programmed by ultra-liberal professors. Vladimir Lenin said it best 100 years ago. Useful idiots, those types of people. But if your brain is working, and you're not like the hateful type, you haven't been programmed that far, you should be able to reflect on this and think, okay, this is what the people want. And then admit when good things happen. And reevaluate your belief system on a regular basis. That's what you should be doing. I can see out my window, so I'm always seeing people walking by. At any rate, I will let you go. And as I was about to say, be kind to one another. Again, help each other out. Be happy. And I'll catch you in the next one.